It started like any other cozy evening meant to bring people together. We had invited close friends and family over, hoping to enjoy a night that would ease the strain of our recent routine. I had arranged everything: dim lights, soft music, the scent of rosemary chicken wafting from the kitchen, in the hope it would lift Marcus' spirits. He had been buried in work for weeks, barely speaking at dinner, his gaze distant even when we sat side by side. I thought a familiar, joyful night might bring him back to me in a way that late-night talks no longer could. The evening bloomed effortlessly. Laughter warmed the room, drinks flowed easily, and conversations drifted from fond memories to harmless teasing. At one point, someone brought up Marcus' failed attempt at assembling a coffee table. I joined in with a light-hearted version of the story, embellishing just enough to make everyone laugh. I meant it as affection, as we often do when surrounded by those who know us best. The jokes kept coming. Little things about how Marcus always talked to our dog like a roommate, how he'd forget his socks in the dryer, or leave mugs in odd places. Every now and then, I'd glance over at him. He was smiling, yes, but not with his eyes. His body was too still, too composed, like someone politely enduring a play they'd rather not watch. I chalked it up to exhaustion and thought nothing more of it. I didn't see the quiet unraveling beneath that controlled calm. Later, when I realized he wasn't in the room anymore, I assumed he'd stepped out, to the kitchen or maybe to grab some air. I kept entertaining, kept laughing, kept drinking. The guests eventually filtered out, leaving behind only half-empty glasses and soft echoes of joy. But Marcus never returned. I went upstairs, expecting to find him asleep or reading. But the bedroom was empty. His phone, his keys, his wallet, all gone. A strange stillness filled the room. I called him, straight to voicemail. I told myself he needed time, that he'd come back in the morning. But morning brought a message instead. Direct, flat, painfully honest. He wrote that he'd felt unseen for years, that being the subject of constant jokes had worn him down, that my laughter, the same one meant to include him, had instead chipped away at whatever dignity he had left. That night was just the last drop. He wasn't leaving out of anger, he said. He was leaving because staying had become a quiet betrayal of himself. I read his words again and again. I called. He didn't answer. 2 days later, a moving van was parked outside the house. I walked in to find parts of our life missing. His side of the closet empty, the framed photo from our last anniversary gone, his favorite coffee mug nowhere in sight. Everything he touched had vanished with him. Friends reached out, some shocked, others awkwardly confessing they had noticed something in him that night. A distance, a silence, a heaviness. One told me Marcus had whispered to them on the way out, "This place doesn't feel like mine anymore." That sentence haunted me. It wasn't just about one night. It was about 100 small moments I didn't see. The subtle ways I had made him feel alone in a room full of people. I had mistaken his quiet for strength when it was actually survival. I wrote him a letter. Not a text, not an email, a real letter, my handwriting shaky on paper. I told him I understood now, that I was sorry, that I should have defended him, not joined the chorus, that I should have made him feel safe, not small. I mailed it, not knowing if he'd ever read it. Weeks passed. Then came a response, not from Marcus but from a lawyer. Divorce papers. Clean. No accusations. Just names, dates, and endings. I sat alone on the couch we picked together years ago and signed the final page. It was done. Now, whenever I'm at a gathering and laughter rises at someone else's expense, I look around. I watch who speaks. I watch who stays quiet. And I wonder who is slowly fading, sitting politely while something inside them breaks. I remember Marcus, the man who loved with gentleness, the man I failed to shield, and I carry the weight of that every single day.